Welcome back to Lisa Cooks Food. I'm Doug, this is Lisa. And we normally like to talk about kitchen education, show you new things. This week we have our own problem to deal with.
The oven is broken.
Very broken. And I want cookies.
Let's see what we can do. We've got a lot of things in this house that can get hot, so let's see if we can approximate chocolate chip cookies with something else.
Let's get creative. So we're not kidding, our oven really is broken. And so we were brainstorming what are all the different ways we have to make cookies without an oven. And we came up with actually a lot. So we have a grill, we have a griddle, we have a stove, we have a little breakfast sandwich maker, we have an Instant Pot, we have a microwave, and we have a toaster.
I'm gonna nix the toaster idea.
So we have 6.
So the grill is most oven-like. It's a box that we can create some indirect heat source. I think that one stands a pretty good chance.
Okay, that's good. Well, the griddle and the stove and the little sandwich maker, those all have direct heat.
Yeah.
And so we're really gonna have to work around that so that we don't end up just burning one side of the cookie while the other side is kind of raw.
And all bets are off on the microwave and the Instant Pot. I don't know what to expect there.
Yeah, I just keep thinking back to what the Instant Pot did to that pumpkin. So to get this party started, we're going to start with the breakfast sandwich maker. That's hot.
So this little gadget started out as a white elephant gift, but actually our teens really enjoy making breakfast sandwiches with it, and it makes a pretty good sandwich. The way this works is that it has 2 heating elements, top and bottom. You would put an English muffin, some ham, some cheese in this section, and in the second portion, you would crack an egg and put the top of the muffin. So then it heats from the bottom and the top and makes a nice toasty sandwich.
So we have a concern that if we put the cookie dough on the bottom, it'll be directly touching a heating element, and it's just gonna burn the crud out of the bottom of that cookie.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put it in this top section to avoid burning the bottom of the cookie, but still get something that's cooked all the way through. So let's get started.
Got a small scoop here.
Okay, now I'm concerned that that's gonna touch.
It may actually touch.
It does touch.
It does touch.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Natural. So we'll just put this in here for about 5 minutes at first, and then we'll check on it and see how it's doing.
Hey, that looks pretty good.
That does look pretty good.
Let's let that cool and we'll go on to our next method.
Next up is the microwave.
This is a pretty straightforward method. Put some dough in a mug or in a ramekin like this.
What's a ramekin?
A ramekin is a small bakeable bowl.
Oh.
And then we microwave for 60 seconds.
We're also gonna kind of flatten this out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll kind of smush it in. Microwave for 1 minute.
That's something. It resembles a cookie.
Does it?
Well, but we leave it in there.
Leave it in there, eat it with a spoon.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll let this cool.
Next is the Instant Pot.
I'm not sure about this one.
This one's gonna be weird.
I've inserted the rack that allows us to put some water underneath and suspend the jar above. We're going to add 2 cups of water to the bottom of the pot.
You just casually mentioned a jar.
We're going to put our cookie dough into a mason jar and it will steam effectively in this Instant Pot.
Steamed cookies.
Steamed cookies. So we're adding about 4 volumetric ounces to this 8-ounce jar. So we're going to put foil on top of the jar and rest it right there on the rack, suspended above the water bath. Seal up the Instant Pot and set it for 5 minutes for a gooey cookie, 7 minutes for a more done cookie. Let's start with 5. Press manual and then adjust the time to 5.
And that's it?
Yep, that's it. Now we wait.
So this took several minutes to get up to pressure and then stayed under pressure for 5 minutes and then took another minute to release the pressure. So all in all, this actually ended up taking probably closer to 10 minutes.
I hope it's delicious.
Yeah, I mean, that's a far cry.
It's not done. It's gooey.
So we gotta do all that again? 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes on the timer. So 5 more minutes to get up to pressure, then 2 more minutes on the timer, then another minute off. This is not my favorite way to make cookies. It's been another 5 minutes, 2 minutes of cooking.
It still doesn't look very good. So I say we let it sit and see what it turns into. Next. I never thought I'd be doing this, but I'm gonna grill some cookies. So I've set my grill up for indirect heat. That is, I have 2 burners that are on this end and 1 burner that is not on. I've heated the grill to about 350 to 375 degrees, and I'm gonna try to keep that temperature steady. I've increased the heat to 375 because I actually made a lasagna out here the other night, and it seemed to need a little more heat to keep it going. I'm gonna use this vented grill pan with parchment paper because I was concerned about ruining a good cookie sheet out here on my grill. So we'll see how this goes. I have 2 burners on here, and I'm placing this in the side that does not have a flame right now. We'll leave them in there for about 8 minutes or so. These took a little longer. It's been 12 minutes now. Let's check them. Still not done, but getting a lot closer. They could use some browning. Let's see if 14 minutes will do the trick. Hey, a little bit. So these are struggling to brown. So I have an idea. I'm gonna use this upper rack and put the cookies directly above the flame, but a little further away to see if I can get some good browning. I'm gonna scoop 2 more cookies and start fresh. Let's take a peek. We burned them. Well, we solved the browning problem and they are way too brown. So I'm gonna try again. This time I've turned the heat on the grill down so that it's not quite so hot, and I think it has a good convection going, rotating that air in the grill. After 5 minutes, I'm gonna take a peek so I don't burn them again. Ooh, those look perfect. Cookies on the grill.
Now I like my cookies medium rare.
That ought to do it.
Okay. All right, we're at the stove for this set. I'm using cast iron because supposedly it absorbs heat really well and it will be nice and even, so maybe I won't get so hot. I don't know, but let's get this bad boy started. Hello. There it is. I'm gonna use a lid so that I kind of keep the heat trapped in, try to like a little oven. I'm really concerned that I'm gonna burn the bottom of these cookies. I have no temperature gauge. I have no way to prevent the bottom of it. This is gonna be great. This is just gonna be fantastic. All right, well, let's do 2 cookies. Now, the nice part is glass lid, so we'll be able to just kind of watch. Bad news is this glass lid is not made for this, so it's just kind of a close fit. So now we watch and wait and see. Well, it's starting to spread out. Right now I have this on what's labeled medium heat, whatever that means. It's also very hot, standing right here over an open flame. So if only there was some sort of box we could build in which all the heat would be contained inside it. That'd be smart. Someone should do that. It's getting a little smoky in there. Well, okay, well, those clearly burned. So we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna actually try to flip the cookies. I'm gonna put them in just for a little bit, then they're gonna spread, and then I'm gonna flip them. We'll see. We'll do this just enough for them to kind of spread a bit. Try to catch them before they get too crispy and dark and brown and smoky and burning. Oh yeah, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, it's already fogging. Let's try the griddle. The griddle temperature, at least at this temperature, is not gonna give it enough time to spread before it just burns it up. So we gotta manually spread it. Flip it when we start seeing any signs of, or smelling any signs really, of burn, char. Uh-oh, that was a professional move. You may not be familiar with it as much. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna try it one more time on the griddle. What I'm gonna do differently though is that rather than ball up the cookie dough like you should when you're doing regular cookies, I'm gonna kind of have it more flat. It's already starting off perfect. I won't do a second one, I won't waste any more dough. Oh. Pro move. I mean, that looks disgusting. So there we go, griddle cookies.
We made a lot of cookies.
We did, and as you can see, there's a wide variety of quality here. Of these, just looking, there's really only a few of them that look like they could actually be edible and be good.
2 of the grill, 1 was a little overdone.
And the one from the sandwich maker actually looks really good.
Yeah.
And some of them are burned, clearly.
Yes. You know, using a direct heat source like the stovetop or the griddle with such a high sugar dough was a recipe for disaster to begin with.
The griddle flip, where I made it flat, actually doesn't look too bad. I'm kind of curious how that one turned out. Obviously the texture is really janky. And then of course, speaking of janky textures, we've got microwave and instant pot. This is, Okay, before we taste these, if you've liked what you've seen so far, maybe you've learned something, hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe if you're interested in more cooking education and recipe videos. And let's get on to the tasting, if we dare.
I guess we start with the ugly ones first. You know, there's still, kind of a chewy cookie texture that we would normally shoot for.
It's not pretty, but it doesn't taste bad.
It's true. Okay, so then this is the one that you smushed flat on the griddle before baking and flipping.
Yeah.
And it is less done. There are fewer darker spots and...
That was better. It's a little overdone for my taste. It's not burned though.
Not burned, just a little more done than we usually cook our cookies.
Yeah, griddle.
Griddle.
I think it can be done.
I think it can be done. Turn down the heat pretty low. Keep an eye on it. I would recommend smushing it flat.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to cook it so far to get the middle cooked through. Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and be prepared for really ugly cookies. All right, next is cast iron. I made charcoal on the in the cast iron on the stove.
I mean, that is the color of the cast iron pan itself. I think you made a new element. You're really gonna do it?
I like that it's like just really two-tone though.
Nothing about that looks appetizing to me.
I'm gonna need some water. I don't know what to say. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
The fundamental problem, and you can see it here in the texture, is that it's literally, there's a line where it just burned off. And then above that, it's fine. It's a well-done cookie on top. But below that is just like burned. So, cast iron, no.
Okay, so the grill looks pretty good. We did overcook one batch, but it was simply a matter of time and controlling the temperature a little bit better. They're crispy. Not the way I like my cookies, but you know what? I know some people who like them that way, so.
Hi, Dad. Couldn't help but notice you're not tasting it with me.
All right.
Doesn't taste burned, just overdone.
Overdone. Way overdone.
But there's definitely a distinct difference between just overdone cookies and burned. Like, there's definitely a difference.
Okay, so this is from the grill. This is where we put that on the top rack and controlled the heat a little better to keep it a little lower, but it also meant that they required less time. So we cooked this in 5 to 6 minutes.
And normally you're kind of scared on the grill, or you don't want to open the grill to let out all that heat and whatever. In this case, not a big deal.
Yes.
Open it, check it, close it, let it sit, check it again.
Right.
That was not an issue. Better safe than sorry.
Sure.
Let's test this.
Still chewy in the middle.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
The other benefit with the grill is that you could put a bigger plate and put more cookies on there.
That is
and you
true.
could do it kind of like an oven, basically, where you're cooking a dozen, 18 cookies at a time.
That's the best one so far.
The best one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one where we had the cookies away from the heat in the grill on the lower level, and they never quite browned.
Yeah, they didn't even brown on the bottom. They have a nice chewy texture, it seems. Okay, they lack some of the caramelization flavor from the browning that it needs. It's actually a perfect doneness.
It's a good doneness, but I agree. For me personally, if I have to pick between this one and this one, I would choose the slightly overdone, but it does have that good browning and caramelization on it that really what I associate with a good chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah. This one came out of the sandwich maker and I was impressed. I did not expect it to look as good as it does. It does have some browning on the bottom and just around the edges.
It does.
It does not look overcooked, so let's give it a taste. Oh, that's really good. That is really close to an oven.
For me still,
Yes.
the grill top
Yes.
on the second shelf, that's definitely the best one.
Yes.
Now, the fact that these last two from the Instant Pot and the microwave don't look like cookies, I'm confident that the grill top will be best.
Well, yes.
But I will partake, will you?
I will taste them.
This is from the microwave. This was 60 seconds in a microwave, just cookie dough, 60 seconds.
Oh, once we chisel it out, we'll taste it. Okay, it doesn't taste bad. The texture is all kinds of wrong. It does not have any of the caramelization that is necessary for actual flavor, but it doesn't taste bad.
No. To be honest, it did not look appetizing the moment it came out.
It's true.
So I'm comfortable.
Saying no thank you.
Instant Pot.
Steamed cookie dough.
This one, so this one's texture is entirely wrong, clearly. It looks moist still. Wet. Doesn't look moist, it looks wet.
Right, it looks raw.
It looks basically like raw dough, but its texture is not raw dough. It's like eating a wet cookie. I mean, it's cooked, but it's clearly been steamed and whatever. It's the opposite of the microwave, where the microwave clearly, it took out all the moisture and made it kind of a cakey, weird thing. The Instant Pot basically added moisture and cooked it, and that's not right. That's not what a cookie should be. Once again, just eat the raw dough. As a matter of fact, for me, the only one that's better than the raw dough is on top of the grill.
Yep.
All the other ones,
Just grab your spoon and
dig in.
So the bottom line, if your oven is not working, your grill can be an acceptable substitute. It's a little more fiddly to keep the temperature stable and get things to brown the way you'd like them, but it can be done. At the end of the day, if your oven's not working, call a repairman, get him out there. It's gonna be worth it.
And we'll see you next time with a working oven.